Hello class, my name is Samantha, and for my final project I chose to research addictive disorders and more specifically drug addiction. There's no clear reason of what causes an addictive disorder, only factors that make certain individuals more vulnerable to the disease. It's estimated that 60% of teenagers will experiment with some sort of addictive substance during high school, and majority of them will go on to never develop any sort of drug dependency. And it's estimated that among every 10 adults who drink excessively, only one of them will fit the criteria of an alcoholic. So there is this question of how come some people are able to experiment with drugs and not develop any sort of addiction while others do develop this lifetime disease. So let's talk about what makes a substance addictive. Addictive substances trigger a large amount of dopamine to be released, and this creates a euphoric state. And the only way to recreate this euphoric state is to increase your dosage each time. Some drugs are a lot more addictive than others. For example, opiates target brain receptors directly, which makes them one of the most addictive drugs. Some factors that go into what causes addictive disorder is an individual's upbringing. According to the National Institute of Health, children of alcoholics and drug addicts are 45% to 79% more likely to abuse drugs. This is because drug use was normalized in their upbringing, and so they are more likely to partake in that behavior. People suffering from mental health issues are also more likely to abuse drugs. Individuals with depression, bipolar disorder, and ADHD are especially vulnerable to developing drug addictions, and this can often be a result of an attempt to self-medicate. So the clearest indication of a drug addiction is a problematic pattern of use if it is out of the individual's control, and if it leads to a significant clinical impairments. Symptoms of addiction disorder can be characterized into three groups: psychological, social, and physical. The psychological symptoms is if the person needs a drug to deal with some sort of problem, if they are obsessing over the substance, if it's all they think about and it's what they put all their money and time into, then that's a indicator that they do have some kind of disorder. Social symptoms include living in secrecy and solitude. People are often ashamed of their behaviors, so they will choose to close off the relationships in their lives. If they give up activities or hobbies they once loved because they no longer have the energy, time, or money to do it anymore. Financial difficulties isn't a clear indication alone of addiction, but if it's combined with other symptoms, it is something to look for because addicts will choose to buy drugs over food or basic living. Physical symptoms can be withdrawal, which can be seen in cravings, trembling, seizures, sweats, and uncharacteristic behaviors like violence. A change in appetite and appearance is also a symptom of drug addiction, and substance abuse can also lead to other diseases, for example, lung cancer in smoking tobacco. So addiction is a chronic disease, and it's going to need ongoing treatment and care in order to overcome. Treatments are very situational. Factors that go into a treatment plan include the substance that was being abused, the length and severity of the use, and its effect on the person. The first step is detoxification, and that is just clearing the body of the substance entirely. If the substance does cause withdrawal, like opiates, then a person might need to go to a clinic and get aid from medical professionals to go through the detoxification process. Once the body is cleared of the drug, the next step and the longest step will be therapy. It's intended to reverse the psychological damage done by the substance abuse. Types of therapy include cognitive behavioral therapy, and this will help an addict change their perspective of the substance abuse. Family therapy options are also really great for improving relationships and building a safe community that a person can recover in. People can choose to also check into rehabilitation centers. They are licensed residential facilities that give patients 24-hour care and support. People can also join self-help groups to receive support from other individuals who went through similar journeys that they did. And at the end of the day, recovering addicts just always have to be conscious of their behavior because they are always in the risk of relapsing. So let's talk about the prevalence. In America, 21 million individuals have one or more addiction, and only 10% of those individuals will ever seek out medical care. In the years 1999 and 2007, more than 700,000 Americans died from drug overdose. Opiates specifically have a very high mortality rate, with 100 Americans dying each day from opiate drug overdose. In the US, males are twice more likely to fit the criteria of an drug addict and an alcoholic. Addiction disorders are highest in the age groups 18 to 29-year-olds. So the prognosis of a drug addiction varies between the substance being abused. For example, cocaine stimulates the central nervous system. This leads to muscle pains, restlessness, paranoia, and occasional convulsions. Overdosing on cocaine can cause myocardial infarction and hyperthermia, and without immediate medical assistance, these can be fatal. LSD users experience distortion and an intensification of sensation, and when this drug is abused regularly, it can lead to long-term complications of the psychosis. Users of morphine, heroin, and other opiates will develop physical dependencies and if they don't take the drugs, they will experience withdrawal symptoms, which are very painful. Opiate addicts also have a high mortality rate, as mentioned before. It's because these drugs are very easy to overdose on, and they can also cause bloodborne infections as a result from sharing needles, and these are commonly tuberculosis or AIDS. And according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, most people recovering from any type of addiction will experience relapse at least once in their life. So that is all the information I have for you guys today. I hope you found it helpful, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.